Debt management is broken, complex, and costly. Old rules fail because they miss human behavior. Enter Flowen, the behavioral AI platform. Learning behaviors, maximizing recovery. Built for financial institutions.
All right, you may begin your 7-minute presentation right now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Finn from Flowen. So today, most institutions manage millions of borrowers with call centers, one-size-fits-all scripts, and basic metrics like days past due, despite the fact that no two borrowers behave the same. So what happens? Costs go up, recovery goes down, compliance risk increases, and borrowers end up with a poor experience. Now, zoom out for a moment. In APAC alone, household debt exceeds 20 trillion US dollars and hundreds of millions sit in NPLs. Yet collections are still stuck with tools from the past. This isn't just about poor execution. It's a structural problem in the financial system and a big opportunity to rethink collections. That's where Flowen comes in. Flowen is a behavioral AI platform that automates and improves debt recovery by learning how people actually pay. So instead of treating all borrowers the same, Flowen understands behavior. We analyze patterns, we assess repayment intent, and we shape a personalized recovery strategy for each borrower, so engagement feels timely, relevant, and far more effective. The impact for financial institutions is clear. Lower collection costs, higher repayment engagement, and compliance becomes more consistent even at scale. Now let me give you a simple example. Most people don't like receiving collection calls in the morning. I mean, before coffee, before work, before life has even started. Now imagine someone who never answers calls at 9 a.m., but almost always picks up around 2 p.m. Flowen learns that. So instead of calling at the worst possible time every day, the system waits and calls at 2 p.m. when that person is actually willing to talk. It sounds simple, but it changes everything. Now, let me ask you, how many of you in here don't ignore unknown phone calls? I do. If someone calls me, I won't pick up. But send me a message or a notification, I'll read it and pay immediately. Now, how many of you are the opposite that don't mind the unknown phone calls? Because I have a colleague who ignores notifications. She forgets emails, but a simple voice call, maybe 2 or 3, and she pays right away. Can you relate to either one of us? Same ability to pay, different behavior. That's why Flowen adapts. Choosing the right channel and timing for each person, so recovery improves by matching how people actually pay. So how does our engine work? At a high level, Flowen thinks before it acts. We analyze borrower data and behavioral signals to understand intent and risk, then determine the next best action. We, Flowen, operate at a decision layer, meaning improving the decision, not just automating the outreach. And based on that intelligence, the system evaluates whether we should engage at all, which channel to use, when to reach out, and how the message should be delivered. So instead of static rules, sometimes it means starting digitally like SMS, WhatsApp, or LINE. In other cases, it means calling first. The approach depends entirely on the borrower's behavior. And when needed, the system escalates to a human collector, only when that intervention adds real value. Every response, whether it's a payment, promise to pay, even silence, flows back into the system. So instead of static rules, Flowen continuously refines its decisions. It doesn't just run collections, it improves them. So the next question, now naturally, you might be wondering, does this actually work in the real world? Yes, it does. We validated Flowen across more than 50,000 debtor profiles in life portfolios, and the results were clear. Engagement up by 30%, repayment-related actions increased 2 to 3 times in targeted segments, and recovery rates rose 3 to 4 percentage points, and collection costs dropped by up to 50%. But what matters most isn't just the percentages. Collection doesn't need more pressure, it needs better decisions. And that's the shift we're creating. So the next question is, how do we scale this? Our approach is focused. We begin with banks and financial institutions in Thailand, particularly in retail lending and credit cards. From there, we scale across APAC region, and our long-term goal is clear. It is to establish Flowen as a global behavioral intelligence layer for collections. And to execute this, you need more than just the technology, and that's the team behind Flowen. We bring together experience across banking, digital transformation, and operational execution at scale. So to close, debt collection doesn't need to be aggressive, manual, or inefficient. When decisions are driven by real behavioral data, you recover more, you spend less, and you treat borrowers better. And Flowen makes that possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was Ms. Fin Rujikiatkamjorn, co-founder and chief operating officer of Flowen from Thailand, behavioral AI that learns how people pay.